Trump announced tariffs on some importations goods, you understand, that are coming into the USA, and some countries too, they retaliate with their own tariff too, which caused a major volatility in the market last week, especially from the China. So we actually announced a heavy tariff on Chinese goods and their autos. So, and Chinese too, they responded in kind. So it caused a major shift in the market sentiment. It led to sharp sell-off in the risky asset, and some other currency are weakening, such as British pounds and then Canadian dollar. And then when the Canadian dollar weakened last week, we saw the major setback in the oil price also, you understand. So right now, the US Federal Reserve and the European Central Bank might cut interest rate sooner than expected. So they need to support slowing economic growth and rising inflation, because if tariff is increased, what will it cause? It will cause inflation, you understand. So inflation will increase also, you understand. So, and then what the central banks need to do is to probably cut interest rates, you understand, so to be able to support slowing economy growth. So that's it. But if you check the DSY last week, we saw the weakness in the DSY. That's, we are talking about the technical aspect now. We saw the weakness in the DSY. So fundamental aspects, after Trump announced that tariff, it affects the US dollar too, you understand. So we saw the sharp decline in the US dollar. But on Friday, let's see, this is a monthly time frame. So what I actually want to show you here is that if you see the technicality around this area, is that we have a break of structure around there, price form a new high. This is the monthly time frame, if you may ask me. So I want to start from a monthly time frame to tell you what is going on in the market. So this area is a very strong support level where price bounced from, as you can see, and then we have a break of structure around this area, which means that this is an uptrend. Well, what's happened afterward? Price came back to retest this demand level around this particular area. This is the monthly time frame, like I said. So, and there is a sharp retracement when price touch that demand level in the monthly time frame. So you can see what I'm trying to drive at that particular area. So let's go to the rest of the time frame and see what's going on. So this is the monthly time frame, like I said previously. So let's go to the weekly time frame. So now we saw that price has actually bounced off that monthly demand level. So which means that for the next couple of weeks we might see the US dollar strength coming back to play out in the market, you understand. And then if you check another scenario here, is that this is what I called a trend line. As you can see, that trend line, there is a respect of it here and another respect, and then as price came here on the DSY, there is a sharp decline, and then last week we saw price closing above that trend line. That is another confirmation for us. First in the monthly time frame, there is a retest of that demand level, and then in the weekly time frame, there's a sharp decline around this area. You get? So if you now go to the weekly time, to the daily time frame, so what can you see around the daily time frame? You see that there is a break of this particular area. That is probably a liquidity grab around this particular area, and then we saw price sharply decline here. So which means that probably next week we might see the continuation of US dollar strength. That's the resumption of US dollar strength, because we've been seeing the weakness around this particular area back to this area. So that's why it's good to do a top-down analysis to see what is going on in the higher time frame. But where do you want to enter from? And then probably the US dollar strength might not come easily. We might still see a lot of rally, a lot of range here before we finally see markets resume to the uptrend. So, and then if you want to confirm the market has resumed to the uptrend, and next week we should see this gap filled. There is a gap around this particular area, and then probably the gap might be filled next week. So we should anticipate price to even come here, even if price will still probably maybe decline toward here, and then we will now see a continuation to the upside around that particular area. So if we are to check the 4-hour time frame, let's see what's going on in the 4-hour time frame. As you can see, the sell is heavy though, but if you check the hour time frame, is telling us that probably the buy might actually resume soon, but US dollar strength might not resume until we have price coming back to retest this area. Price will still play around that area. That is, you can't take away that price will still play around this area before you can see price going to the upside. And then next week there is no much economic activities in the market, so that is what I'm actually that's what you can see on the economic activities. No much economic activities in the market next week. But for here, for me, I think here is for a liquidity grab, and then price will continue to the upside. So I'm anticipating US dollar strength going to the next week, and then the funniest thing is that the strength might not continue. The strength might not start next week. So what we might see next week is probably maybe some markets ranging around this area, and then boom, we have to break up the structure. Then price started to rally. So let's see how it goes. But I'm anticipating US dollar strength in the next couple of weeks. You understand? So I'm anticipating US dollar strength in the next couple of weeks. So if you want to use a 15-minute time frame, we can actually say price might come back here, and then we'll see price breaking this particular high right here, and then price might not actually take away this low. We might not see price taking away this low and this low again. You understand? So if you see that when price, this is 15-minute time frame, as you can see, this is 15-minute time frame. So if you see that price come here and this low did not get invalidated, just know that US dollar is getting ready to be strong. So that's that on the DXY. So before we go into the individual currency, let's check the economic activities of next week. So on Monday is somehow a quiet day. No news at all on Monday. On Tuesday too, no news. But starting from Wednesday, we have the Reserve Bank of New Zealand rate statement. So probably they are banking on cutting their interest rate by 25 basis points from 3.75 to 3.50. So let's see what they are going to drop at that particular moment. And then we have the FOMC meeting on Wednesday also. So on Thursday we have the RBA Governor Block speech. We have the core CPI. We have the CPI, and then we have the CPI year over year and month over month, plus the unemployment news that actually come in every Thursday. So CPI and then PPI next week, that's what we are going to look at. So this is the big things we are actually looking forward to next week. Inflation reports news. So probably for me, I think we are going to have a high inflation report because of the tariff imposed, and then the counter tariffs. Other countries too, they counter Trump with their own tariffs. So you understand now. So I think this thing will actually cause a high inflation in the US also. So which means that the FOMC need to be fast in their interest rate decision making. So that's that about the economic activity. So let's go to individual currencies. So the first currency I want to check here is GBP US dollar. So GBP US dollar, let's start from the monthly time frame. What I saw on the DSY, I think it might actually repeat itself on this GBP US dollar. So like, you know, this break of structure and then a retracement, and price did not invalidate this particular high right here. So what's this? Price didn't invalidate this side. This is a monthly time frame. Look at it. Price invalidates this low, creates a new low right here, and price didn't invalidate this high, and then there is a retest of this supply level and then a rejection at that particular area, which means that we should be looking for GBP US dollar weakness. You should be looking for GBP US dollar weakness. So probably a little retracement and a sell-off that we might actually see a invalidation of this particular low. So if let's go to the weekly time frame to see what's going on around that area, and then if you see the weekly time frame, you see this big rejection candle, and you know this is obviously a very strong resistance level. As you can see, price close below this level. So if you actually want to sell, like probably maybe if you want to swing, if you're a swing trader, your stop loss should be above this high, that is above 1.29984. so that shows us that that place is a very, very strong resistance area. As you can see that we have a various rejection at that area, at that level, and then we have this one also. As price tap into this, and then you see how price rejects massively. So here too, I think we should be looking for the GBP US dollar sell next week. So let's start looking for GBP USD sell next week. So as you can see as this long candle reject from that particular area. So for me, I believe that if there is any retracement, I believe the retracement should not invalidate this area. Then we should see a sell-off back to this demand level. Probably maybe the first take profit might be at that particular demand level right here. You get, so let's see how it goes. Let's see how it goes. So that demand level might be your first take profit if you want to look at it, or probably this level might be your first take profit. But for me, I think this is my safe zone right here, 1.30020. yeah, this is my safe zone. Probably if we might see a retracement, the retracement might not pass this particular area, and then we'll see a sell-off to the downside to 1.27769. and if this level break, we should be looking for price to come down to 1.26091. Understand, this level might hold somehow. So let's see how it goes, and this might actually be something like a head and shoulder of a thing. So let's see how price react to that particular area. So that's my view on the GBP US dollar. So the next one I want to check is the Euro US dollar. So going back to the monthly time frame, you can see that probably maybe the same thing is playing out around this area. I don't know. A break of structure too, and a retest, you understand. So you know, GBP USD, Euro USD, and the DSY, they usually move like what an opposite. You understand. So as you can see, this one to see the supply level, see as price tap into the supply level and reject at that particular area. And then you see the bigger picture that there is a violation of this low. This is a new low that, you know, invalidates this low also. And then this high has not been invalidated. Not, you know, if this high got invalidated, then you can actually say that, okay, probably price will continue to continue to buy. So that high did not get any invalidation at all. So that I did not invalidate at all. So, and then if you were to check the weekly time frame, let's see see this see the rejection at that particular area. Yeah, but one thing that baffles me here on the Euro USD is that price did not close below this level, below 1.08741. Yes, price did not close. Assuming this candle closes below this level, then I'm going to say this week we are going to what? We are going to sell. You get, but you know, it's all good. Next week we should be looking for price to come back below this level. That is when we can say, okay, we want to start our sell bias on the Euro US dollar, because as you can see, various price closes below this particular level. See as price continue to close, so only this candle closes above it. So what we are actually looking for next week is for price to close below this level, and then we enter a sell setup. But before then, I will only want to buy USD if price invalidates this particular high. So which means that I'm going to wait. You understand? Like, it's gonna be a long waiting game. So let's check the daily time frame. Let's see what's going on in the daily time frame. So we can actually adjust this also in the daily time frame, and then, you know, yeah. So as you can see, this level 1, 2, 3, 4. So which means that what are we looking for next week? This place is a no trading zone for me next week, from this to this area. You know, I'm not trading around this area. So unless we actually see the Euro USD coming back below 1.09348, and then we saw the break of this, then you should know that there should be a resumption of the sell setup. You understand? So that's what I'm actually looking for. I'm looking for Euro USD to close below 1.09348. So if it closes below 1.09348, I'll be looking for a sell setup to the downside. So let's check the 4-hour time frame. It looks like there's a rejection around this area, but for me, this is where I want price to close. I'll be waiting for price to close below this area, then I'll find my sell entry. But if price is not close below that area, I won't be doing anything on the Euro US dollar. So I'll just be watching what the price is doing at that particular area. Though we have this high broken, but if you check the higher time frame, like the one we did the other time, you see what I'm saying. So going back, moving forward to Canadian dollar, Japanese yen, and probably I think, in my opinion, that next week can actually be a retracement week for most of these currency pairs. I get, so we might actually see a retracement. So on Canadian dollar JPY, so let's go to the monthly time frame. Let's see what's going on in the monthly time frame. You know, the overall directional bias is to still in the upside. You understand? So let's see, going to the weekly, let's see what's going on in the weekly time frame. For me, I believe that Canadian dollar JPY should resume an uptrend, but let's see, probably maybe if there is a breakout around this area. Oh, there is a breakout. Wow, I think that the downtrend should resume. But yeah, I'm not trade. This is a no trade zone. To be sincere, I would not want to trade around this area because anything can happen. So here and then and here. So I would not want to trade around this area. So around here and then and this particular area. So let me use box. So here I'm not trading around this area. So I'll be waiting for the body of the candle to close below for a sell setup, and then to close above for a buy setup. So around this area and this area is no trade zone for me. So if the body of the candle closes below, then probably wait for retracement and then continue selling. And then if you check this area too, if we have the body of the candle closes above, then probably wait for retracement and then continue the buy setup. So that's what I'm actually looking for on Canadian dollar JPY. So I'm waiting for the body of the candle to either close below or above to make my decision. And US dollar, Canadian dollar, see what's going on around this area. So let's go to the monthly time frame. You see as price came here and they tap into it and reject. So let's go to the weekly time, daily time frame. So we are coming from the weekly before. This is a daily demand level, and as price tap into that demand level, there is a rejection. So for me, I think that the US dollar, Canadian dollar should buy next week, but I think we should see a major retracement from this particular area to the downside before we see the major continuation to the downside. So I'm waiting for price to probably come down, and we might see a formation of the bottom, and then before we see a break of this structure and price continue to buy. So I'm waiting to buy US dollar, Canadian dollar next week, but not at this particular price level. So I'm waiting for a retest at the trend line to actually enter a buy setup, and then probably I'm waiting for price to break this high. You get to break that particular high right here and then invalidate this high also, which means that waiting for price to retest, and then we'll see the invalidation of this two high. So in respect to what we saw in the DSY earlier, so that's that on US dollar card. On pounds AUD, one thing I want to trade on this pound AUD is just a retracement, nothing, because if you take this candle is too long, you get. So if I want to teach you how to trade a retracement, this is what you do. You put a line at the peak and then at the bottom of the weekly candle. So if you want to trade a weekly retracement, so what you do next is probably put a Fibonacci retracement. So this is an uptrend. So then you drag from down to up. So after doing that, then go to the daily time frame, and then you move slowly to the 4 hour, then move slowly to the 1 hour. Then this is where the job is done. So then go to the 15 minutes. So there are some things you will see that you want to sell. So like this now, there is no invalidation of this high at this area. This is the first high. This high did not break this particular area, this particular high, as you can see, and then there is no break of this high, no invalidation of this high right there. So it's getting interesting. And then we have the validation of this low where price came to make a new low. So for me on Monday, I'm waiting for price to come here, and then if price did not invalidate this high, I'm selling to that low. So this is what I'm talking about. If price come here and then tap into this supply level around this area, this supply level, and didn't break it to the upside, then I'm selling back to any of those levels. So the first level I will sell back to, let's say 50% Fibonacci retracement level, or probably if you want to be on the safer side, do 38.2 Fibonacci retracement level. So which means that probably wait for a retracement back to that upside, a retracement here, and then sell back to this level or this level and do what, and take profit, because you might see price resumption and then it will break this particular high right there. So and then that level might be might come in line with the trend line, as you can see. So there is the trend line right there. So which means that if price were to use this trend line as the support level, it means that price will come back to 61.8 Fibonacci retracement level before we see any buying opportunity that will break this high, that will break that high. So that's what I want to trade on the pounds AUD next week. So I'll be waiting closely on Monday to see what's going on around that particular area. So let's go to the US dollar JPY. So going to the US dollar JPY, checking the monthly time frame first. auto. So as you can see, but this is a valid trend line, but it's, let's see probably maybe it's sloppy. No, it's a very valid trend line. So let's go to the daily time frame. So here I believe we should see a buy setup on the US dollar JPY next week. So this is the candle I'm banking on, probably next week. This is the candle, so probably wait for more retracements and then move to the upside. I'll break this level. So if this level break, you will see a big pullback and then price will continue to the upside, and then we'll see the invalidation on that level. So for me, I believe that we should see the continuation of US dollar JPY buy next week. Yeah, we should be expecting it. If you check the 1 hour time frame, you see that this level has been invalidated to the upside. So if you are the one that actually trade this high, then you wait for price to come and tap this demand level right here, and then you see probably maybe you see price continuing to move to an upside. So price may actually reject from here. Don't take away the possibility of price rejecting from this price level. So I'm actually looking to buy US dollar JPY next week. After a deep pullback, then I'll look for a buying opportunity. So what we did on the DAP-AUD, you can actually do it on AUD Swiss francs too. This is a very long candlestick, so just want to trade the retracement. You get, so just do your thing, and then you do what this is a downtrend, so you do this, and then go to the 15-minute time frame. So what you want to do is to buy the retracement anyway. So for me, I think the retracement might come from this particular area. So yeah, what I'm doing is no new low formation here, no new low formation, no new low. So I'll be waiting for this candle. If this candle did not break this low, then it means that I'll buy. But if this candle break this low and break this low, I'm not going to buy, because eventually it will continue to sell. But if we now see that this candle rejects at this area and then did not validate this low, then I'll be waiting to buy back to any of the Fibonacci retracement level. That is any of the level. But I'm used to use the 50% Fibonacci retracement level. You get, so that's what I'm used to. So before we see any further decline on that particular area, so same concept too, you can use it on GPS. You see this clean, this very clean trend line strategy. And then if you want to learn about the trend line strategy, there is a link to a 50% discount course in the description box, so that you can click it and then buy the course. This course is very fantastic. There's no way you will learn the course and you not make money with that strategy if you follow the rules I stated in that lecture. As you can see, this is a fourth touch, and see, boom, this is 1:3.39. you get, it even went as far as 1:5. you get, so you can actually deploy the strategy I did on the GBP to GBP SND by trading the retracement. But you understand, so just do your thing and then look for a sell entry and stuff like that. So these are the few pairs on my watch list this week, because most of the pairs, most of the AUD JPY, AUD Swiss franc and stuff like that, they've moved a lot, and then most of them will do a retracement. So probably I might actually trade more of retracement this week, more of probably pairs that has sold massively. So I might even buy the retracement this week. So it might be one of the things I'm actually looking forward to, as this week is, we just have the high volatility news, which is just the inflation news, the CPI and the PPI. So don't forget to click the link in the description for your verified broker, a very reputable broker with $5 minimum deposit. And then there's another broker too you should take note of, the Headway. Headway is a very good broker, so with $2 minimum 2,000 naira minimum deposit. So you can use Headway to flip. Some people complain of capital, but if you have $2, you can deposit on Headway and then you can flip it. You understand? So let's see how it goes. And then don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel and turn on the notification bell in case I drop any video so that you can be notified. There's another update on the deposit bonus. I will drop some. So take care. Don't forget to use a protective stop loss. Have a good and profitable trading week ahead.